Hey everybody, welcome back to the Castaway Consultants, where we teach future Survivor contestants how to play the game by criticizing current players. And we're going to be criticizing some people tonight because we just watched episode 10 of Survivor 43, which is called Get That Money, Baby.
Get That Money, Baby.
Is it Jesse's kid?
Yeah, just these kids that wrote that in the letter. That's nice. So we just watched episode 10. Pretty dang good episode, gotta say.
I enjoyed the editing choices made in this episode greatly. There was a lot of creativity, and we got a lot of in-game strategy, not a whole lot of flashback. Like, we got the loved ones letters, and that was kind of it in terms of outside of game stuff. So I really liked this episode pretty much from front to back. I felt like we actually got to know the players, not the people, but the players.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed that too. Overall, I'd say good old thumbs up from me for this episode. In terms of the loved ones, is this basically confirming for us that we're not going to get loved ones back?
I don't think we're going to get it back just because COVID. Speaking of COVID, you may have noticed we haven't done the introductions yet. And for those of you who are watching us, for the first time ever, all three of us are in separate locales podcasting over Zoom. And that's because freaking Josh gave me COVID.
Whoops.
That's actually true, folks. That's what happened.
Yeah. In my defense, I gave it to Ryan before I had symptoms. So, say what you want with me being irresponsible. While that is true, and I don't know how I could have prevented this other than just, not talking to Ryan.
You could do
Fellas, I gotta know. What movie was it for? Was it for Ginger Dead 3?
We didn't even watch a movie.
We just went and hung out at a swimming pool.
Yep. Hotel pool.
Josh had a hotel. I went over to use the pool. Now, Josh, you got this from your girlfriend, correct?
Most likely, yeah.
Well, cool. I'm gonna blame her too.
No, that's fine. We can all blame her. And she got it from dirty old Grand Forks because she was at a wedding.
Ew.
Yeah. So I mean, probably not confirmed, but most likely went from wedding to me to you.
So Grand Forks, North Dakota is a cesspool of disease. We already knew that. This actually makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Shout outs to anybody listening from Grand Forks. I'm sorry you live there.
We love you, but we also love to hate you.
I don't no love.
It's kind of like Wisconsinites. We just plain don't like you. But but yeah, no, it's best to go remote because for those of you out there with children, you know how expensive childcare is. And if my son is exposed directly to COVID, he is out for 10 days. And at $270 a week, it was cheaper for me to go and buy my own mic.
Yeah, that's fair.
So here we are. We're making it work.
So introductions are in order. If you're new here, I'm Ryan Stacy, your resident Survivor superfan, joined by Josh Wessler.
Hello, I'm also here. I'm a super fan as well.
Yep.
Although not your resident super fan. I don't know how I get the resident title in front of it there, but whatever.
I'd have to die, I think, or retire for you to get it because it's seniority.
I have seen every episode of Survivor in the entire series, so that's what I classify as super fan.
I think we need to go corporate America style with this. Ryan is the senior super fan, and Josh is the junior super fan.
I like that.
And I am the intern super fan in training.
Derek's the unpaid intern.
I am an unpaid intern. Sense, people. Literal sense.
Yes,
and I'm the third one.
Intern Derek Kubicek.
Yep, I'm the unpaid intern Derek Kubicek, and I'm excited to be here. I missed last week. I heard you guys throw your digs at me. Most of the time, I deserve it, but Josh kind of took my place with the horrible takes last week. So,
it's true.
False.
Someone's got to do it.
You know what? I'm gonna double down on it this week too.
I don't remember what it was. What was your terrible take?
You hated that I said that Owen can't win the game.
Oh yeah, that's a terrible take.
That's a horrible. That is awful.
I stand by it. I think he's winning. By it.
I think he's winning this whole thing.
Honestly, I felt like he was getting a bit of a winner's edit today too. So yeah, we'll see.
Congratulations.
We'll see.
All right,
we're deep teasing.
You guys ready to jump into this episode?
Let's get in.
All right. So spoiler from here on out. This is a great episode. Go watch it. 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. Oh, Noelle. She didn't have a leg to stand on in the end, but she had a great episode.
Noelle,
Yeah.
more like no chance. Am I right?
No.
Sure.
Sad.
She didn't even make it to December. Like Noelle, it's her
Oh.
month.
The Christmas, they didn't even make it to Christmas. Womp womp.
It had to be done. Like Jesse kind of said it nicely. Like, sorry, I had to do it. Bye.
Yes, but here's another deep tease. It was too early to do this.
Maybe.
Let's jump to this episode. After coming back from tribal council, it turns out Sammy was the one who told Carla at the last minute how the vote was going to go. So Carla's annoyed at Sammy or at everyone for trying to keep her out of the vote until the last minute. And people just don't really trust Sam anymore. I came into this episode pretty high on Sammy, but I'm dropping him way down. It seems like nobody trusts him anymore.
I agree. And I feel like little bits and pieces of the edit have been there, or at least the context clues, where if you are a member of the Castaway Consultants and you're always watching for that social game and you're watching for that social edit, what is everybody else saying about that player? We've been getting a little bit of between the scenes stuff where it's like Sammy is playing both sides. I said it last week. I think I made him my worst player because of it, which I was bashed on a little bit for.
Yeah.
But I have to say, the beginning of this episode validated a lot of the claims that I had made based on between the line observation. But yeah, I'm kind of with you, Ryan. We're now getting verbal confirmation that Sammy is playing a very Machiavellian, antisocial, highly strategic game, and it's rubbing people the wrong way. Who could have guessed in 43 seasons of Survivor this would happen?
Here, yeah, I'll sum it up with a quote from I believe Noelle at the reward. She said, "Sammy is a flipper," and I think this is the first time we got those types of words to describe Sammy actually through our television.
And it's not just her.
Yeah,
other people say it.
So it's been vocalized at this point. Like, you can see someone who makes certain types of moves as either really strategic or you can borderline into being considered a flipper. And flippers, they have a hard time winning sometimes.
It's also
Flippers
revealed
never win.
No.
Not true.
It's also revealed that Jesse knows about Carla's idol. This is the first confirmation we've had that anybody has put together that she was going for the beads. So yeah, Jesse, at the very least, Jesse knows about Carla's idol.
And he did make a statement that basically everybody knows, but it's kind of an unspoken truth at this point.
So Jesse knows Cody, and Gabler have hooked up. They brought Gabler in, and the three of them seem to be riding the middle, and they get to kind of dictate what happens next, which is true in this episode, I would say.
Yeah, Gabler's just hopping around everywhere now.
Looking for a chance to make a move, I think, which is what he needs to do.
I was going to say, I think Sammy's hopping around, and I think Gabler is getting passed around, kind of like the Thanksgiving turkey.
Yep. All right, so at the reward challenge, normally I don't give a crap about reward challenges, but this one was pretty epic. Noelle was way behind. She was struggling with the balance beam because she's missing a leg.
What? She is?
Wait, what?
And I swear, like 20 minutes go by in screen time. Everyone else has been on the last station trying to land this sandbag for about a decade. And then Noelle finally finishes the balance beam and gets it. And like on her second or third toss, the sandbag she lands, it wins reward. It's pretty epic.
It was pretty epic. I'm surprised that she didn't try like crawling across. I think Owen took that strategy right away. I'm surprised she didn't go for that route right away. But she knows how to balance on one or so legs more than I do. So what do I know?
Mm-hmm. What does Josh know?
Not
much.
So she's going to get to choose 3 people to go with. She chooses Sammy, Jesse, and Owen. And I guess I have to retract the statement I made last time, or maybe not retract, but update it. Because I was coming into this episode, I was not very high on Noelle, just because I didn't see a whole lot of connections for her. The only people she's had tight alliances with are out of the game pre-merge. She's had a bit of a rocky road until this episode with Jesse and Cody. So I just wasn't seeing her winning on a jury. I was just trying to find the numbers for her, and I was having a hard time doing it. Turns out that isn't the case. Sounds like everyone wanted to vote for her tonight. And I think this helped.
No, I agree. And, we've talked about it in earlier episodes of our podcast, but I think a lot of that is a failure of the edit to really build up the resumes of these people as players in exchange for kind of building them up as people with stories to tell rather than stories to write. But Jesse kind of sold me that Noelle always managed to be super scrappy and find her way out of whatever hole her Jesse and Cody threw her into. So we have to give a lot of props to her as at least a strategic player, and to the same extent a social player as well. So, and we knew that she had physical prowess despite the disability. So yeah, I think Noelle was way up there on the threats list and things to keep in mind.
I wonder if they did that just like half on purpose because they knew that she was going to go home at a certain point. So maybe they were tweaking what they're showing in the edit to make it seem like she wasn't like this overpowered, like giant threat, because there's a reason to vote her out in the first place. We all know that. But if you add all these other things on, it's like, okay, we know this is not going to last very long. It's an open and shut case. There's no reason to bring her to the end. Absolutely not. Maybe if they hide that a little bit, there leaves a little bit of mystery. I don't know. So
this is an epic moment for Noelle, and I think it helped lose her the game.
Yeah. I don't know if this necessarily loses her the game or anything like that. Because I will say, and I'm gonna, show off a little bit here, to toot my own horn. I predicted that she was gonna go home this episode on last week's podcast. And my reasonings, while not 100% accurate. I thought that they were going to turn on old Vesey overall, and Noelle was just going to be the one that took the hit. But overall, I kind of saw it as like, oh yeah, I could absolutely see this being the exit point for someone like Noelle. She's going to have to go at some point. Might as well do it now. Like it's going to have to be somewhere in the next 3-ish episodes, three or so votes. So this is as good a time as any to do it, and that was my reasoning.
I just think this drew the big spotlight onto her big inspiring story, also with the fact that she's got a great social game. She's proven she's strategically good. Now she's got this. Of course she's going to win. So if we're going to be consultants, for anyone who has missing a limb and goes on Survivor, maybe don't come off as a challenge threat anyway.
And I mean, we do always say, like, try not to win individual reward post merge.
Inspiring and epic as it was, I think this is the wrong move for Noelle.
I don't want to get lost in the fact that she won a reward challenge as the seal that sort of sent her home. I gathered Jesse going on reward with her and seeing how she was connecting with Owen and who else was on reward again?
Sammy, Jesse, and Owen.
Sammy. And so Jesse is watching her again work her magic and lure in new numbers and new people. And he's thinking, okay, yeah, she won this challenge. She brought me, which kept me off the beach from scheming with other people. And look at this. She has new friends again. This is the third time, and I'm sick of it.
Which wouldn't have happened if she hadn't won reward.
True. Yeah, you are correct.
So Sammy suggests all these reward winners come together, take out Cassidy next. Owen suggests, hey, we split between Cassidy and Carla. This is a great plan. Taking out an idol. I would focus on Carla, try and get Carla out of the game, and split up a power duo of Carla and Cassidy. That is one way this could have gone, and I would have been 100% okay with that. And they especially focus on wanting to keep Sammy comfortable so he doesn't scramble so often.
And this is, of course, assuming that this would be best for Cody and Jesse. And we have to kind of let them make that call because, I mean, it is good for, I think, Gabler. It is good for Owen. It is good for Noelle to target Carla, who are kind of the other three sitting out there right now. At Sammy, I'm not sure because he's got a relationship with Carla and Cass, so he's up in the air. So really my big question mark is if Jesse and Cody decide that it is in their best interest to do that, sure. I think that Carla is someone who can win over them. And so I do think they should think that it's a good move.
Yep.
Whether or not they go that direction, I suppose it's already spoiled. They're not going to do it.
Yeah, they made the wrong move again.
I think you are correct with that.
Yep. Jesse's been getting a ton of praise, and I've been really enjoying him this season. But once again, this is not a move I agree with for Jesse. Watch, he's going to win the whole thing, and I'm going to look like an idiot. But I really don't think so. I think Jesse is playing a losing game.
It's very possible.
I don't know if I necessarily agree, just because I think that you got to take Noelle out at some point.
Yeah, but there's other points.
Okay, you could say that about the others. Like,
Yeah, well, there's points that take more precedence than the Noelle point.
I don't know. And that's what I'm kind of struggling with right now is I don't know, like, step for step, like ranking wise, I don't know who beats who at this point. Like we can kind of assume, like we can guess just based on screen time and the way that it feels to us, but I really don't know, who is in second versus third right now, who's in first versus fourth, or yeah, I think you have an obvious like bottom. It seems like, obviously you have Gabler on the bottom. People don't, aren't viewing Sammy super positively, and then obviously there's arguments basically everywhere after that for everybody else. I have a hard time placing them in a particular order.
There's
right
a
now.
very I'm not so focused on order as tiers, and in this case there are tiers of people who can win, with Gabler and Sammy being near the bottom, maybe on the bottom. We'll talk about that later. But the thing that interests me is power duos. We have one with Cody and Jesse, split that up. We have one with Carla and Cassie, split that up. Noelle is one person. She's missing a leg, which means she's gonna have a problem with some challenges. She can win other ones, but that's also a big glowing spotlight to say, hey, vote me out. Noelle is like the number one meat shield. I don't think she should have gone here. I think you could have taken care of her at a later date, because nobody is going to forget about Noelle.
And one more thought experiment, because I agree with Ryan. It's about breaking up a power duo. If you're going to take a Noelle or Carla, if those are the two, I would want to split up the power duo and create another free agent, put someone on their back foot like Cass. But why isn't everybody coming together against Cody and Jesse right now? Is it the fact that they know that Cody has an idol? Why aren't people going after them yet? Because they've been kind of a flippy voter block as well. I think and maybe that is why people aren't targeting them, because they are flipping and they might be ticking off the jury. I don't have a good read on that.
So as far as threat level, or like where your priorities should be, who do you think that duo should be? Like, do you need to focus on a grouping like Carla and Cassidy, or should you vote or focus on a grouping like Jesse and Cody instead?
Either one is better than taking out Noelle.
And I think I agree with that. If I'm ranking this, I think that Carla has the best chance to win out of everyone in the aforementioned like four people, the two power groups of two. So I would target Carla at this juncture and at least try to flush an idol. And then what I would do is, like, if you get Cass or Carla out and an idol gets flushed, then you immediately take everyone, go back, shift your efforts to Cody and Jesse. And yeah, there's two idols and they survive, but I still think that given the knowledge present, that's the next move. And it does sound like we're going to get to that.
Or that's where you could, not anymore, but where you could have split it between, Cody and Noelle or whatever. And you have that buffer in case Cody uses an idol.
Well, whatever. The one thing that you got to know, people don't know about that second idol. So if you split between Cody and Jesse, nobody knows. It for what they know, that's fine. You don't need Noelle involved in this.
The second idol does make it a little tricky when we're analyzing it and saying what they should and shouldn't do.
Yeah, but nobody knows about that idol.
We have to go off of what their actual knowledge is.
Right.
Correct.
Cassie's one who suggests taking Noelle out because she's very close to Owen, splitting those two up apparently. So that is a good point. But those are like two floaters who have found each other. That you take out one of them, like they're not like a super day one alliance like the others are.
Yeah, if trust is the only true currency, the trust that Noelle and Owen have with each other is out of necessity and not necessarily out of bond. I'm not saying that they're not good friends.
Right.
I'm just saying they don't have time on their side. It was sort of marriage of convenience, and that's not a power duo. That's not a power duo. That's a duo. That's a voting block. They will vote against each other if it's in their best interest. They absolutely will.
So it seems like they're leaning towards a split between Carla and Cassidy. Oh wait, Cassidy wins immunity. That's not happening now.
Woo! Yeah, my winner pick. She's just sticking around.
I would suck at this challenge.
No, yeah, this challenge is terrible. No, thank you.
I feel like I would low key do okay at this one.
I have shaky hands. I can't do this.
I am confused though, because it seems like they struggled more than any other season has struggled with this one before. Maybe that's just edit that they were able to show it and did a really good job at it, but it seemed like I don't know. Maybe they use different tiles this time.
I don't know. Noel's plan is foiled, and Gabler's like, hey, Noel, Casty, and Carla are coming for you. So Noel needs a new plan. And they're ultimately going to come up with doing the other split on Sammy because nobody trusts him. Cool. That's fair enough if you want to go this way. Jesse and Cody are like, well, maybe this is the time to flip on Noel. We get a really fun segment with Jesse really taking us through his thought process and his plan. He's got a 3-step plan. He's got to have a cover story for every conversation, and we get a graphic on screen showing like a checklist of each of these things getting crossed off. So for every conversation you have to have like a fake story to sell other people in your alliance. Throw a fall guy under the bus is number 2. Love that. That's a great move. This case being Sammy.
The old Chris Carter piece of advice for football fans out there. Chris Carter, the football player, famously took Teddy Bridgewater up in front of his entire draft class and said, best advice I can give you is have a fall guy in case you do anything dumb.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Chris Carter, the creator of the X-Files.
No, not that Chris Carter.
Well, if it's not about the X-Files, why do I care? I'm just kidding.
It is a really obscure reference that, like, I'm a Vikings fan and I didn't even remember that.
Number 3, have a backup. Number 3, have a backup plan.
Have a backup plan.
Cool. So this is fun for Jesse, but again, I don't like going after Noel. I think they just go with the Carla Sammy play at this point because you can always take on Noel later.
And what's weird is when Cass wins immunity, I kind of think that everyone else, like Owen and Noel and Carla, and Sammy, and I mean, I think Gabler as well, but like, he's kind of tight with them, should swap over to breaking up the other power duo of Jesse and Cody.
That's the other way they could go.
I think that is the optimal. I don't think that there was any chance that was happening because we got no conversation of that happening tonight. All we got was Gabler saying, hey, these guys are being shady. I don't want to do anything about it now, but like next time, he's basically teasing us for like tomorrow or the next vote. But like, I think that now would have also been a good time to do that. Like, hey, we can't get this power duo. Oh, look, another one.
Just because the players don't come up with something doesn't mean they're not wrong,
Right.
So
Correct.
Yeah, no, Derek, you're right. You're 100% right. With the Carla Cassie plan being off the table, why not try and split up Jesse and Cody?
I don't have an answer for that question.
Yeah,
I don't either.
I get where you guys are coming from. It does make sense. The only thing that I can think of is maybe they're not confident that everyone would want to do that, and that there might be a little cross communication where there ends up being, leaked information. Sure. But we didn't see any of that.
What is really funny is Sammy comes up to Jesse's like, hey, we should take out Noel. And Jesse's like, hey, Noel, Sammy's coming for you.
The fall guy.
But Jesse brings in Gabler to help take out Noel. And like you mentioned, Gabler is concerned with Jesse and Cody, but basically decides, well, that's a problem for future Gabler.
And to Gabler's credit, Noel can absolutely beat him. So like voting out Noel doesn't necessarily hurt him.
Nope.
But he needs to be driving something in order to build his resume if he wants even a sliver of a chance.
Yep.
And he needs to pick his people very carefully.
Yep. Yeah. The issue with this is Gabler kind of planted the seeds with Carla towards the end of the episode here to essentially tease what I think is very likely to happen next episode.
Yep.
The issue with that is that Carla is now going to go make this move and call it her own. Like it's no longer your move. Just bringing up an idea doesn't make something your move. You have to actually go execute it. And sure, Carla's going to be the executor most likely in this. Well,
scenario. Then he's going to have to take out Carla as well at some point.
I mean, great if you would think that he's actually going to do that, but he'll probably just bring that up to Owen and Owen will execute it. That's
future Castaway Consultants' problem to talk about.
Yeah, we can only talk about today's weird scenarios.
Tribal Council honestly was so much horse crap, I couldn't believe it. Like, this went on a long time and they talked about nothing. Like, that's typical Tribal Council, but this is more than usual.
The fluffiest fluff that ever fluffed.
For real.
I agree. If a college English professor was reading this Tribal Council as a research paper, it would have been red penned into oblivion. What is your thesis statement? We're voting tonight.
Yep.
That's literally all we heard of any substance at all.
People were sneaky.
I think I know what's going on, but who knows?
Anyway, let's get to the votes. It ends up being 5 votes for Noel, 2 for Carla, 1 for Sammy. It was the 3 on the outs were Noel, Sammy, and poor Owen.
Wow, it's almost
Once
like
again.
he is not in line with the vote and isn't doing anything.
I think he's going to win. I think he's going to go to the end with probably Sammy and Gabler and win this thing.
I mean, if he goes to the end with those two, then maybe.
Yeah, Josh. Tell me again how Owen can't win this game.
To be fair, that was last week when you guys were picking Cassidy. And I was basically just saying if I was picking between those two, I would have said Cassidy over Owen. Now,
Cool.
we'll talk
Speak not
about
of
it.
me. I was not here.
Wasn't that your opinion, though? Didn't you say Cassidy?
Well, I said Cass can't win. Yeah, she was in
Yeah.
my bottom two.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think you could go either way, take out Carlo or split up Jesse and Cody. Both of those are better than what ultimately happened in going after Noel. So, if we're to go with our Twitter poll that we always do every week, did the right person go home? I'm going to say no. I think it probably should have been split between Jesse and Cody and blindside one of them out of the game, preferably Jesse, probably.
With Cassidy winning immunity, I think that makes me okay with this vote, just because I think Noel has to go out at some point. We don't know for sure, but there's a possibility that Noel beats every single person in this game if she makes it to the end.
Definitely possible.
So she does need to go out at some point. The two duos that are both left in the game with Carla Cassidy and Jesse and Cody, they're the leads. They're the ones that are least hurt by this. So you have to look at the other remaining people. And at this point, those remaining people are now in the minority. So if you're talking about for the overall group, in my opinion, I think that this is still fine.
I still think it would have been a net positive for either of those power duos to weaken the position of, I guess, remove the other power duo. So while I do think the optimal move is to try and split on Cody and Jesse, the edit didn't really feed us that as a possibility. So I will say the wrong person went home for the most number of people, but this is far from the biggest sin that's been committed this season. So I'm not overly worried.
Sure.
And by the way, the game of Survivor Whack-A-Mole continues. Noelle pokes her head out for a second and whacked.
Now, what did Twitter have to say?
Twitter had a big fat no on this one.
Knew they would.
Yeah, 78% said that this was not the right person to go home.
Hey, we agree with Twitter. I'm sure for the exact same
Yep,
reasons
the
that we
exact
talked
same
about
reasons.
tonight.
Oh yeah, not just because they like her.
So I think my voice is starting to give out a little bit. So let's get into best and worst player of the episode. For best, I'll go first. I actually give it to Cassidy. Josh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
She won immunity. She helped take out Noel. Her power duo is alive. She helped save Carla. If she hadn't won immunity, I think one of them would have gone, probably Cassidy. So I'm going to give my best player to Cassidy.
I have Jesse because I felt like it was the right move for people to target him. People did not target him. He knows about Carla's idol. He has a secret idol for himself. And Noel going home does not hurt him the worst. And I understand why he wanted to abandon the split vote after Cassidy won immunity. So I have Cass as an honorable mention, but I have Jesse as my best overall.
And I'm the same with Derek actually here. I gave it to Jesse just because, like I said, I didn't think that this was the worst thing for him, for her to go home. And I gave Cassidy an honorable mention mostly because of the immunity and the fact that she could have possibly been going home here, depending on how the split ended up working out. But I just like that Jesse ended up making a move, and I really like the process of it. Yeah, a lot of that came through the edit, and it being a really cool way to display it on the edit side. But hey, we got a ton of Jesse in that process, so thumbs up to him.
I just think Jesse could have used Noel. They have that vested bond, and apparently they are a lot closer than the show had been showing us up until this episode. So I just think Jesse cut a number too early, which she's done before.
Down one person with now only 7 people left. That's one person does a lot of damage.
Worst player, Derek, who do you got?
I landed on Sammy, and it was mostly because of the hard speak we got about him from other players. They see him as a flipper. They see him as someone who is being Machiavellian and playing too hard. And once you have people like that talking about you, a lot of those people end up on the jury, and they all have a vote. And that vote is not going to go towards someone who's flipping and flopping and doing whatever they can to just get one step further rather than thinking about the people aspect.
Josh?
Yeah, I think it's either got to be Sammy or Owen, just because they were the two that were outside of the vote here. Pick whichever one you want. I guess we can go with Sammy, just even though it's nothing that he did in this episode, it's more just verbalized from other people like Derek is talking about. So I'll go Sammy here. A random dishonorable mention though to Gabler, just because you had an opportunity to do something and you didn't. So, and I know it was really last minute, but you got to make moves, dude. So make that move before it's too late.
I also had Sammy, just being left out, seen as untrustworthy. Okay, so let's talk about who is going next. Josh, why don't you kick us off? Who do you got?
Well, I think that, the little teaser that we got from Gabler here at the end of the episode will end up happening. One, because why would they show us? I mean, yeah, you want to have a little bit of mystery, but the big edit behind Jesse's, 3-step process here was enough to, basically just assume that Noelle was going home. So whatever. So I think that is going to, come together here in the next episode. And it's either going to be one of Cody or Jesse. I don't think both idols are going to be played. And I think that the casualty that we're going to get is Cody here in the next episode.
Interesting. I think Jesse's going to go with an idol in his pocket.
It's definitely possible.
I'm going completely different direction. I think we are getting Idlegeddon. I think all 3 get played, and I think Cass goes home.
No,
I can see that. I can see that for sure.
I think when one gets played, everyone else gets spooked. You hold on to the idols to get you past exactly these types of things. Not a single idol has been played yet, and everyone can taste the finals. Once one idol goes out, and if people know that it was played correctly, they're all getting played, all of them. Because even if Jesse still has both, he knows he has to play it for Cody.
Yeah.
So I think the unfortunate target after all that is Cass.
Yep. I can definitely see that. I wouldn't shock me at all if it's Cassidy.
So before Jesse had 2 in his possession, does he still have 2 in his possession, or did
that was a little unclear? He told somebody he was giving an idol back to Cody, but we didn't see that happen on screen.
Yeah.
No, that was his cover story. He was telling Noelle, because Noelle was like, "Hey, why were you talking to Cody?"
Yeah.
So that was step 1 of his heist plan.
So I'm assuming he still has both, as far as we know. Let me check the wiki, and maybe if there's any updated information. They're usually pretty good about having that done by about now. But
sure.
Nope, it still has Jesse having 2 on here. So
yeah, and if I'm getting really specific, I think that Jesse and Cody are going to target Carla. I think Carla susses that out, plays her idol, and then I think they play their idols in response to that. So that's that's how I see this going.
Do you think that they have enough votes then to, is it possible that we have no valid votes at the next tribal?
That's totally possible.
We only have 7 people left. It's not like we have 11 votes to go around or anything.
Yeah, and then I think it falls to that's what I think happens. I think every vote gets nullified. We go to a straight revote, and then Jesse and Cody want to weaken the former Coco power duo, so Cass, and then Owen and Gabler and Sammy are like, yeah, this is easy, Cass.
Yeah, no, I think we're getting to the Baka Boys final 3 prophecy happening.
I think so
hope
too.
Not.
Owen wins.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's possible.
All right, let's talk about who cannot win this game. There's 2 people in this motley crew of 7 who cannot win logically. Who are they? I guess it's my turn to go first. It's Gabler, and I'm gonna switch out Cassidy for Sammy. I think Sammy is annoying everybody with this squirrely behavior. No one trusts him. I'm gonna move Cassidy up. She can win. Gabler and Sammy are the 2 who can outwin this game.
I have Gabler and Cass still, but I have a big note saying that Sammy is on thin ice. One more episode of people talking about his social game, strategic game, as the Machiavellian version that it is, and I say he can't win too. He is trending downward hard.
I'm going to take this as an absolute win for me, just because I feel like you guys thought I was crazy for putting Owen below Cassidy.
You absolutely
last
are.
week.
You are.
And I still believe that. I still think that Cassidy is above Owen in this scenario. Yep. But I am also changing my answer. Instead of it being Gabler and Owen, I think that I'm going to switch it to Gabler and Sammy here.
Dang right.
Just based on what we got from Noel this episode. Yep. It was a little bit of confirmation. Yeah, I still completely believe that Owen has done nothing in this game. I like him as a player, but I think that there's very little that he's done to warrant whatever you guys are thinking is happening from him. I think the only way that Owen wins is if he goes to the end with Gabler and Sammy, which is 100% possible. I think that he absolutely can win this game because of that grouping of three. I think that there's a very decent likelihood that group of three makes it to the end. But I think just bottom up is Gabler, Sammy, Owen, and then Cassidy at this point.
No, false, wrong, lies, slander.
Yep.
All right, so last thing we have to do, and Derek, you could turn off your mic because you're not relevant. We have to check out in our survivor pool. I'm still alive. Just so is Josh. By the
skin of his teeth.
Both still alive. I picked Cassidy, one immunity, and I'm through. And Josh, who did you have?
I had Owen.
Yep. So talk us where are we at with people left to pick? How am I doing?
Yeah. So Ryan, I hope you gave a lot of thought to who you're picking this week.
Yeah.
Because you have Sammy, and that's it.
Yep. I guess I'll lock in Sammy as my pick this week.
Ryan is down to his last gasp here. Sammy is his last one. This is where it gets interesting.
Yep.
Because there's a couple different routes that I can go here.
You have two people left.
I have two people left. One of them, Sammy. The other, Cassidy, who has been a target a couple of times here in the last few episodes. Also, someone who you guys both just said wouldn't be surprised if she went home next because of our idol get-in. So if I pick Cassidy and she goes home next week, Ryan wins on his last basically Hail Mary of a person. But if I go with Sammy here, and if Cassidy goes out, then we tie and we reset. I really don't even know what we would do in this
scenario. We would reset.
I think me and Ryan, not Derek, me and Ryan reset with the remaining players and go from there. Okay. Same thing if we both go for Sammy and he gets voted out, we reset as well. I either pick Cassidy, win outright, pick Cassidy, lose outright, pick Sammy, guarantee myself at least, at worst, a tie, and at best, neither Sammy or Cassidy goes out. I am going to play the coward in this role, and I am going to go with Sammy here.
Oh, I would have done the same thing, 100%.
Respect.
I really wanted to, I actually went into our this recording going with Cassidy, but then the fact that both of you guys said, wouldn't be surprised if Cassidy went out with our idol get-in, blah, blah, blah. And then Ryan goes, oh, I could absolutely see that. that spooked me. That really spooked me. So I'm going to play it safe, take the coward's way out, and I'm going to go with Sammy here. So if anyone but Sammy or Cassidy go out, I win.
Otherwise, we reset.
Otherwise, we reset with the remaining players. And by we, I mean me and Ryan,
yes,
not Derek.
Confirmed, no Derek. All right.
None for Gretchen Wiener's bye.
You know, I played my strategy all the way to the bitter end. Josh has yet to make a mistake. Here's hoping.
I think we had very similar strategies here. Maybe my priorities just went a little bit different and left me a little bit luckier in the end.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to blame just luck.
There you go.
Not me using all my best people early.
No. Yeah. Keep in mind that we're at final 7 and we're both basically out of people.
Yep. It's hilarious. All right. I don't have anything else tonight. Do you guys?
No, I don't think so.
Got nothing.
Follow us on the socials, maybe if Twitter's still a thing. At Castaway Pod, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that fun stuff. We should get a MySpace.
Oh, yeah. Oh, or Tumblr.
Tell a friend.
Let's get a Tumblr.
Tell a friend. If you are the Best Buy employee who sold me my mic and asked me if I was another white guy with a podcast, yes, this is me. Hello, I remember you. You said you'd check it out. I'm watching the followers on Spotify, so I'll know.
Well, by one, we'll know.
Yeah, if it's just by one. So yeah, this is real, and we've been doing this for years.
And while you're at it, go rate us. Give us 5 stars on Spotify.
Smash that like button. All right, I'm dying. The COVID's killing me, so I'm gonna go finish editing this and then just die, I think.
We can only hope.
So if I'm not here next week, the COVID got me.
Yep. Me and Derek have done such a good job without you. I think we'll be fine. No.
The legacy will continue.
Yeah, good luck.
Sounds like a lot of work.
All right, this has been the Castaway Consultants.
Got nothing else for you.
Good night.